And we are back. The boys are back. The Kingdom is back. Drums is back. Everybody's back. Welcome everybody across this beautiful country of ours. In Manitoba, in Saskatchewan, in Alberta, all the prairies, BC, the West Coast, all the way up to the Rock, Newfoundland, and anybody else who might be tuning in from elsewhere around the world. So with that, drums, you've had some rest. You should be ready for this. We'll be back in 30 seconds.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Kingdom. My name is Drums, and as always, I'm joined by the brothers behind Kngdom, Regan and Jordan Headley. As we always do, we send it up north first, see what's going on with our boy Reg. Reginald, how you doing, buddy? How's the weather up there? You snowing? You raining? Sunshine? What's happening?
Sleeting. It was
Sleeting?
It was just what all melted. I just what had the whole driveway chipped down to the bone after a tough start to the winter, but almost had it all back down, and now it's snowing pretty good here tonight. Went over and shoveled mom and dad's driveway tonight as well. They're home on Saturday, so I've shoveled that a few times. I want to have it looking tip top for when they get home and don't have to move a muscle when they get home. So not much else is going on.
Son of the year over there.
No doubt.
Well, I owe them a bit, I'm sure, over the years.
Thomas, what's happening out in Rossman, big guy?
Top of the evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just sharing the link here. Sorry. Just give me 1 second. Nothing's pasting. My phone's so full that it won't even paste. Could you imagine that? Your phone being so full that it can't even copy an address and paste it somewhere? So we'll have to work on that in the next couple of minutes. But while we're here, things are good. Reggie and I held down the fort last week, and we missed you, Drums, but we had a good epi. We talked about Ruby's golf networking tips. It was quite the little adventure we went on there, talking in Rubes' voice, Rubes' words, and I think there was a lot of good info in there. I hope people use that as a good resource in the future. Maybe we'll share it a couple times throughout the summer, but it was a pretty good episode. It's been a long time coming. Rubes had a couple chances to come on the show. He bailed, and so he lost his opportunity. 3 strikes, he was out, and we stole his content. So good to have Drummy back, and everybody's reunited. It feels like we could be golfing. I was talking to a guy today in Ontario, and he said he's been sneaking onto golf courses there and playing.
Who did I see golfing the other day?
That's a bold move.
Somebody was golfing the other day. That could seriously damage the course too if he's
for sure.
Matt LePage was golfing. He hit a ball off of a river somewhere.
Yeah, he was golfing. Yeah, that's who it was. Yeah. Good on him.
He might have been in BC.
Would imagine he's not putting or anything.
I don't know.
No, he's down in he lives in Minnesota now.
Matt LePage?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if he knows we're talking about him on the Kingdom. Well, if he sees this, shout out to Matty LePage. Heck of a guy, heck of a golfer. But this is not about Matt LePage. This is not about me. This is about golf. So let's move on to Drummy. Where were you last week, Drums? Everybody's curious to know.
Just dying in bed slowly. Very,
Nice.
very slowly. I was sick for a few days last week, and Wednesday afternoon I was home. So upstairs here in this house, we've kind of just moved. There's an upstairs apartment basically, and we've just kind of turned it into the office. Where we do the pod, and this is where I can play with hockey cards and dumb shit like that. But I was coming up here Wednesday afternoon and opened the door to step inside the living room or office, whatever this is. Bird flew at my head from inside.
No way.
So absolute panic show on my end. Just about fell back down the stairs. But my head is absolutely pounding. I feel like the biggest bag of shit to begin with. So I'm just like, I can't deal with this right now. There's a fucking
No.
bird in the house zipping around up here. What is going on? So I just closed the door, went back down to sleep. So forgot about it afterwards. Forgot there was a bird upstairs for like a day. And then I'm like, oh, I got to go get rid of that goddamn bird. But got up here, couldn't find this thing. There's like a overnight bag that's in the middle of the room and it's got bird shit all over it. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Hopefully there's just one of these things. Like, what the hell's going on? But then I'm moving some shit around, trying to find this thing, and it's on the floor, just dead. Dead as dead. So I don't know how long it was actually upstairs, or what the scenario was, how this guy got up here, if there's a hole in the roof or what the hell we got going on. But yeah, that was my Wednesday. So I was like, well, I'm not doing a podcast while there's a bird flying at my head. So that was my reason for pulling the plug last week.
Holy shit. I hate birds, man. Wow.
I would have
lost it.
It's just, it zips at you so quick, or it's flying around so quick. Like I'm trying to like crawl around on the floor. I don't know, like a robin or sparrow, whatever.
Do you think you scared it to death?
For sure. Like I probably did.
That's not true. I'm glad you waited to tell us, because we legit didn't know what was going on with you last week. We got the late text that you were bailing on us, and we didn't know. There was lots of speculation going on.
Gong show. But other than that, we're back up to semi-healthy over here. Just a revolving door of sickness, in and out, in and out, in and out, never ending. The joys of kids. But no, like Reg said, same thing. I thought we were going to be golfing in like 2 weeks, and nope, piss and rain most of the day. We got some sleet, got some more snow. Only good thing is hopefully this keeps the outdoor rinks open, because Luca was not a happy camper the past 2 weeks with not being able to skate. So hopefully we can get out a couple more times this year for the little guy.
Big hockey guy.
Huge hockey guy out of nowhere. Didn't want it because I'm not spending that money, but inevitable happened.
Yeah, no doubt.
We live in Manitoba, man. I think it's inevitable.
Speaking of flying things, Reggie, I don't know. Did I tell you about the bats in Mexico?
No. I haven't talked about Mexico, really.
I thought I did, because I told you that I was like naked on the balcony.
You said you were naked on the balcony, but that's all you said.
Oh, go on.
Okay. Well, maybe I guess
this is you were naked on the balcony. That was that story. That was it.
No, but this was also on the same balcony. So I think it was that's what led to it. But anyways, our flight from Mexico was at 8 a.m. and we had to go like an hour and a half from the resort to the airport. So we go to this travel agent and at the bottom of the resort, and we were talking to her, and she told us our transportation would be there at 3:15 a.m. That's what time we were to leave the resort, 3:15 a.m. So we pushed it to 4. Luckily, they let us do that. So anyways, we're leaving at 4 a.m. We got back pretty late the day before from the pool, and all my stuff was soaking wet. So I took it out there, hung it up on the balcony. And so in the morning, I went out there at about 3:30 in the morning, like to pack up the wet clothes before we left. And there was these like Mexican raccoons there. I don't know if you guys have seen those. Reggie might have saw them on Steegs' story. Like those things. Yeah, with the long nose. They're like anteaters.
Yeah. Yeah, they were at our resort when we were there too.
Were they?
Yeah, those things are unreal.
So I walk out and I saw like a shadow of one, and it looked like a giant one. I'm like, holy, is this like the king raccoon, Mexican raccoon? So then I accidentally bump the chair. Like there's a couple chairs out there, just plastic chairs, and it makes like one of those noises when you push plastic on concrete, like not a squeal, but like a noise.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like I saw about 50 of these things. They all just scurried all different directions up into these trees. And then like soon after that, like 3 or 4 bats were just flying right around my head. This is at 3:30 in the morning. It's pitch dark out there. And I can't turn the light on because the resort like make sure that nobody's turning on lights at night. So it's pitch dark. It was nuts. 3:30 in the morning, Mexican raccoons and bats flying at my head, and I'm trying to get ready to go to the airport to leave. I hate flying things like that. Birds or
Yeah.
bats.
Like just fast shit. Like same with like mice.
Yeah.
I'm not really scared of a mouse. It's just that I don't know what it's doing. It's fucking
Mhm.
jittery and it's all over the place real
Unpredictable.
quick.
Unpredictable. Birds are so unpredictable.
Those Mexican raccoons just scurried like nothing I've ever seen before. Within one or 2 seconds, all of them were going completely different directions, all up in the trees. And then these bats swoop in and start messing with my morning. Anyways, let's do a little cheers here, boys. Cheers is in order, I would say. Who wants to do it?
Yes, sir.
Drummy.
Okay, actually, I'm gonna throw another one on there, but the first one, cheers,
got
is gonna
two.
go out to Chubbs Peterson. Rest in peace. Carl Weathers passed away, the actor famous for Happy Gilmore role, Chubbs Peterson, the fellow that lost his mitt. And then the other one, was that yesterday or the day before? Toby Keith passed away as well. So a couple big cheers to those gentlemen. Rest in peace. Toby gave us some absolute bangers to drink to. So cheers to them.
Cheers.
Cheers, fellas. We should have had some red Solo cups for the night.
That's what I was thinking too. I forgot about that.
Damn it.
I have one more cheers, Dad. I mentioned it to you guys before the show. I always pump Obsolete's tires on here. Huge accomplishment from Obsolete, from the brewer, Marco Spardelli, one of the best guys I ever met, probably. He's just just always happy. He's from Brazil. He always just gives you a fist pump every time he sees you, and he's just a beauty, like one of the coolest guys. He was actually nominated for the Brewer of the Year for 2023, and he won it. So the Canadian Brewer of the Year, he went to Toronto, accepted his award, and I'm having a Frogger and a can. Pretty cool cans they got there. Very, very, very good beer. So
yeah, that looks
cheers to Marcos.
Salud.
Cheers, Marcos. Don't know you, but sound like a good
He's
guy.
an absolute gem, yeah.
Well, I'm struggling here, boys. Holy moly.
Like straight out of Brazil? Like he came from Brazil to Obsolete, or like he's been
Yeah.
around in Canada?
No, straight from
What?
Recruited.
Really?
a little while ago.
There we go. Finally. Okay, I'm back. Sorry, boys.
What's going on over there, man?
I told you my phone was literally so stuffed full of. So that was another thing with Mexico. They made like a group chat thing, and so there's like 300 photos and videos of everybody's like wedding experience that have all clogged my phone. And my phone's usually pretty stuffed as it is, but now it's just like can't send a text, can't copy and paste. And so I just need to take like a couple hours and clear it off, but haven't had time to do it yet.
It's so hard to do, man. I usually do it on the plane.
Was it your people or her people?
Her peeps. It was a really good group though, honestly. Like good group of guys. I mean, Britt was there. Britt Headley. She was one of the bridesmaids. She gave a speech there at the wedding. So we had a couple familiar faces there, but it's always nice to meet some new people, especially if you figure you'll probably see them again sometime.
Yeah.
I'm not huge on meeting people just to meet people, but if there's if you're going to see them again, why the heck not? So it was a good week, really good week.
Beauty.
So let's we got the Chubbs, we got the Toby, and we got the Marcos, and we got Ches in the house tonight too. He was trying to give us shit for not including Swan in the local knowledge. He said Swan got the shaft again or something like that.
Vote for him.
It was a random draw.
Yeah, legitimately a random draw out of a hat.
Live on the show.
Mm-hmm. There's no arguing that.
There's nothing you can say or do at this point. We got them locked in.
Tape, Ches.
Yeah. Check the tapes.
Check the tapes, Ches. Ches, man. Jeez.
Okay, let's get to some golf because Drums was gone last week. Me and Reggie tried to fill the void, but our around the greens specialist, the king of around the greens, was gone. So Drums, you got some stuff to catch up on here. Reggie, you know better.
Sorry.
Ooh. Well, let's start everything off with a huge golf clap to our boy AC. Absolutely killing it in 2024. This far, I think he sits, 12th on the race to Dubai? Is that what they call it?
How did he go down last week?
I don't know. So weird.
Like he finished 6th? Is it 6th or 8th?
Yeah.
6th. And he went down 3 spots.
So, yeah, it doesn't make sense. Unless, were there guys in front of him like competing on the PGA last week?
There had to.
Did they get extra points
that makes
for that?
sense. Yeah.
Has to be, right?
And that was
Like,
an
Rory
elevated
would've
event
got
too at
points.
Pebble Beach. Yeah, right.
Right. So that'll be the only thing I could think of. But like we said, absolutely killing it over there. So he tees off in 5 hours, 6 hours here shortly.
Yeah.
Teeing it up for the Qatar Masters. And then he's on again at 10:30 tomorrow night. So quick turnaround our time. But I guess that'll be overnight for him. So good luck to AC again this week. But man, absolutely killing it.
He's actually
Saturday that he had maybe like 3 bad holes. Other than that, he would have been like top 5 for sure. Hey.
Yeah. I was trying to stay up and watch it because I was East was curling on the weekend, and I was trying to stay up and watch it, but I couldn't do it.
Well, and then
my blood.
Even like the telecast too, like it doesn't show him ever. So if you stayed up till 3 o'clock, you'd catch one shot of him in 4 hours. So
yeah.
I've tried it. So
see you, George.
Definitely no. Oh, this is a good.
Check it out, George. Well, you might as well continue.
Okay, next up on here we go. Back at it.
I didn't even leave. It just shut my camera off. Like I was in here the whole time.
Oh, you could hear it?
Yeah.
Okay, next up. I don't know if you guys or how far you got to this one last week, but huge news. And it's live news, Reggie. So you maybe want to cover your ears. But it's happening. He's back. AK is going to live. Pretty incredible, if you ask me. Anthony Kim, he's going to make his debut in the spring. I don't think they've decided on which team or how they're going to decide on which team he's going to belong to. It seems like they didn't know whose team anybody belonged to until the day beforehand. Just more live shit show. But he's going to be making his debut. First time playing professionally since 2012.
That's
so
nuts.
I know it was all reasons related to injury and insurance policy, that type of thing. Do you not think the PGA could have like stepped in and been like, hey, whatever they're going to pay you to not play golf again, we'll match it. And you just come back and play golf because we need somebody with some notoriety or somebody that's going to bring eyes. This was kind of before JT and those guys popped off too. So like they were hurting bad at the time. Makes no sense to me how that didn't happen.
Yeah, I'd be interested to hear and see what happened there. What'd you say was 2012 the last time he played?
Yeah.
So that would have been after Tiger's incident. I think that was in like 2000. That was right around there, actually.
10-ish?
Was it 10-ish?
Well, which incident?
Well, the one with the 5-iron through the window.
I think that might have been a bit earlier.
Was it?
I
think so.
I was going to say, because at that point, I don't think the PGA really cared about anything other than T-Dub. But yeah, that is very interesting. And I don't think that the PGA was in I don't think they were in the mindset of like having to compete with anybody at that point. I don't think they were
they're still not
having to compete with anybody until about this year. So
yeah,
I don't think that they were looking too far ahead. I think that they were just trying to this is just, from what I've gathered from the whole situation, it just seemed like they were trying to suck as much as possible from there without really giving a shit about the players or the product or anything like that. They knew that this was a machine that's just going to keep printing cash for them. And so I don't know. It is a good question, Drums, but I don't have an answer to it.
Because I think like the insurance policy, I think it was like for a total of 18 million. So in that 10 years, like it'll be like he would get some compensation from that 18. He would obviously have to give some back if he goes back and plays professionally, right? Like that'd be a pretty easy check for Liv to cut if it's like, even if it's 10 million remaining on that policy that
I think it is 10.
Right? Like
it's at 10 million.
They're handing out 100 million here. So that's pennies to them now. And I
read an article. Sorry,
they
I
get
read
that
an article
automatic boost just by his name.
PGA offered it, like in different types of, yeah. And I think he chose Liv, so I'm guessing they offered him that 10 million and then a hell of a lot more. But PGA offered to like do it through appearance. That's just what I read in a couple different articles it was two different articles that said they offered him appearance fees plus something else, and then they would just pay off that 10 million in like 5 events or something.
Yeah.
So they tried apparently, but who really knows? So he's going to Live, like that's confirmed.
It's confirmed.
Well, I mean,
like there's
at least he's playing
no particulars around it yet, but yeah, like man, he was like the hottest shit for a while, man. He was sick.
Mm-hmm.
There was a bunch of stories and videos circulating kind of after the news, but one good story that I saw came from Paul Azinger, and he was talking about the 08 or 09 Ryder Cup, and it was AK's first and only Ryder Cup appearance. But they were kind of in the meetings, and they were trying to figure out how they were going to set up the Sunday matches, and they somehow knew, or maybe back then Europe must have posted theirs first. But anyways, they knew there was going to be some heavy hitters. Sergio was out first. AK walked right up to him and said, "Give me him. I want him. Let me go get this win for you. I'll take care of it." And he was like, "Yep, absolutely. Go get it." And just got in the zone. Won like 4 and 3, and off the green just went storming right to the next trying to get to the next tee box, and everybody was like grabbing him, trying to hold him up, be like, "No, you won, man, like it's over." And he's like, "No, I'm still going." Like he just didn't give a shit. He was so in the zone, so jacked up. So Zinger said he's just like, that's his character. He's a fighter, and just wishes he could have had him for many more tournaments and stuff like that. So everybody loves this guy. There's that fire in him. He was kind of the Johnny Manziel of the time, right? For golf, just a beauty, and a bit of a gong show, like the party. Unfortunately, the injury took that guy away from us.
You're muted, Reggie.
Sorry. Yeah, he's an absolute beauty. I can't wait. You think he'll have his big bling belt again?
Has to.
Big AK belt.
He's got a bit of a different look now.
Does he? I haven't seen him.
I thought he had the long hair.
Yeah, he looked like Steve Aoki. Not trying to be thinking, but he looked exactly like him.
Well, so they showed a picture of him recently?
Yeah, he was hitting balls last week or something.
Like, is this what he looks like now?
No.
All right, then. I'll find him later.
And then next up, we had DraftKings. They got a few people not too happy with them. Quite a few disgruntled fans after the weekend of golf. Appears a lot of guys were predicting that there wouldn't be a final round that would be played, so they started hammering Wyndham Clark as the winner, with like 2 holes remaining on Saturday. So they had to void, like, I think it was upwards of like $20 million worth of bets. They had to cancel.
I saw a couple bets too.
Yeah, some were like nuts, like $700,000.
Someone made $100 parlay, but they knew that the round they bet that the round wasn't going to play on Sunday, so they made a 10 pick parlay, picking all 10 guys that were in the top 10 to finish in the top 10. and it was worth like $1 million from $100. And
It's hilarious.
obviously they didn't play, so but they weren't sure if it was going to be paid out or not. But I'm guessing like that has to be void. Like that's tanked. Like you can't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Another part of that, and the question got brought up. I was listening to something. I can't remember what it was, but the question got brought up that they kind of knew that there was a really, really good chance that they wouldn't even play Saturday, too, just with the weather that was coming in. So, is it TV or what is it that says we can't try to squeeze these in Thursday, Friday, as opposed to never even playing them? If you played 36-36 or even tried it.
Right.
There was no cut, so it didn't really matter that way. Like you could try to squeeze it in. But it's got to be TV rights, that type of thing. But if they don't play, you don't really get that TV anyway, so it's confusing.
Did you see AI made that putter for Clark? Like he tried like I forget what the number was. It was like 350 different putters or something, and that was the one he picked. Like artificial intelligence made it, like based on what he wanted. They made a putter based on it. Like told them all the specs to make.
It probably did a lot more than what he wanted. It probably looked at his stroke and analyzed it and then looked at the options involved. That's the crazy thing about AI is it's just able to handle so much data. Like it probably would have taken a group of like 4 or 5 people like 2 years to figure that out. With AI, that's like 5 minutes or less.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you'll have to read the story. I just saw today that it was AI that created that, and then I saw he was testing out a whole bunch.
Wyndham Clark, that's kind of a greasy win, I'd say.
Win?
I mean, he shot 60, so
yeah, like he played amazing. Like it's not his fault. But yeah, like I don't imagine that one's going to be the first on his resume.
Ludi Boy was in second.
Yeah.
Oh, he's nuts, man.
He's still searching. He doesn't have any wins yet.
No, but soon.
He was sniffing by the sounds of it.
Did you guys talk about Dunlap last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. Before we go any further, I've had this on the screen for about half an hour here. Can you watch DP online? And he means the DP World Tour, not.
Oh, wow.
It's a loaded question. On the live talk, quick. What do you guys think about Vic and Schauffele withdrawing this weekend?
Okay, but we got to answer Chez's question here. That's what I was asking.
Yes, you can watch DP online.
Google it.
There's a whole bunch of sites where you can watch DP online. The golf, I don't know though. I don't know.
I've never watched it online. I've always just watched it on the Golf Channel whenever it's on. If you're feeling adventurous, you could try to find a Sky Sports stream. Other than that, good luck with Googling DP.
DP live? Get even weirder.
For sure. It's a thing.
Oh, okay. Let's move on. Let's move on fast, too.
You brought it up.
I was looking for legit info for Chez.
What do you think about Vic and X withdrawing from Waste Management?
Man, what do you think about it? You're the guy to talk to here.
They go?
No, I don't think they're gone. Well,
who was it?
Why wouldn't they go right now? Like, why wouldn't all these guys go right now? It seems like it's going to end in one end game. So why wouldn't they just go take the big stack of cash right now?
Yeah,
it's happening fast. I didn't think it was going to happen this fast, honestly.
No,
but I think a lot of it is just like
Rombo's said he was so emotional because he has to miss like the Waste Management and shit. Yeah, just shut up. Just take your money and get the fuck going. Like, you don't have to comment on that type of stuff. Like, nobody really cares.
Yeah, no doubt.
He said that.
There's not a whole lot of
very emotional that he had to miss it. Like, so what? Wipe your tears.
Nobody
with your
cares about your passion anymore. You took the package of money. He made his choice.
No, I still love him, but
No,
was a
I know,
dumb
but I'm
comment.
saying like,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter about shit like that now. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore.
He's set.
Oof,
Chaz firing F-bombs in here.
firing rockets.
What Sheep's doing, offering us some
We got a
Bitcoin.
new face in the house tonight. Sheeple said, "What do you three do for work? Would you accept Bitcoin for labor?"
Kind of labor are we talking?
DP.
DP.
I would definitely accept Bitcoin. That is what I accept most, in fact.
Yeah, but how many Bitcoins?
I don't think Bitcoins is plural. I think you just say Bitcoin. No.
So it's like deer.
It's like deer. But then the question becomes, what about beer? Is it beers or
Definitely
beer?
beers.
Is it?
Yeah, it's beers.
I don't know. But if you say like I had 4 or 5 beer.
I think it's beers. I don't know. I don't know either.
Who's
Put it to the
Icus?
chat. We're going to find out.
We got James Bond in the house tonight too.
Who's Icus?
I put the show on 88 Sats Radio tonight as well. So we got some
that's why-
Bitcoiners in the house. It's like geese. Okay, we need to get back on track here, folks.
Yeah, this is going wild.
I think it is. I would say if you guys had this gun to your head, though, would you say beer or beers?
Beers.
Yeah, I think we'll go with beers. We'll go majority beers.
You're not going to say I had 12 beer? Oh, 12 beer.
See? It doesn't sound bad though.
I drank 12 beers.
We're going
It
beers.
sounds
drank
very
12 beer.
it sounds very rednecky.
Does it?
Yeah.
Crushed
I'd go
12
for
beer.
five
Whoa.
Yeah, you know, me and Cletus over there, we have about 4 or 5 beer. Yeah, it's very hicky.
Is it though? But it might be right.
Drums, what else you got on the agenda tonight for Around the Greens?
TaylorMade has got their suing pen out. They are going after Kirkland. Going after the Kirkland brand irons in particular. They've put out a lawsuit for copyright infringement, claiming that the irons have too many similarities. A bit further to that, I'm not sure if you guys follow this account or not. My Golf Spy. They do a bunch of stuff with equipment and everything, right? But they do a YouTube video where they actually cut both of the irons in half and give you a look inside the innards of each. They look completely different. It's just gibberish to me. I don't. But looking inside it, they look completely different. I don't know how it comes down to it. Above my pay grade, but cool video nonetheless. Just seeing kind of what those things look like inside. Yeah, just cutting shit open. I love it. I want that machine so bad. Yeah, balls and everything. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything better than just cutting? Like, that sounds kind of weird, but like looking at sliced open golf balls and stuff like that. Like, it's stuff that has a surface that you can't see inside, and then all of a sudden you open her up. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, golf balls are wild inside.
Like the old ones too. It's amazing how far they've come after this.
Like the iWounds?
Yeah.
What was I going to say? What caused this? Because it seems like, to me, just like as a casual observer of Kirkland brand, like they basically rip off everybody with everything. So was it because of their... I felt like it's because there was such a wide gap there between these two products, like between TaylorMade and Kirkland. Like the TaylorMade irons are like $2,000. These Kirklands were like what, $700?
They look fucking sick.
If that.
When did irons get so fucking expensive?
Well, that's what I mean. That's kind of where I was going with this. Like, if Kirkland can get away with making the exact same product that they're claiming is the exact same product, and they can sell it with less volume for less than half the cost, like that just shows you how much TaylorMade is making off their irons.
Yeah.
Not just on golf clubs, it's everything.
For sure. But I feel like it had to be Like I feel like it was the gap that really caused them to lash out at
Just
Kirkland.
For sure.
finally say that's enough.
You're cutting my knees off here.
Pretty.
That's also on TaylorMade too, though.
Oh, for sure it is.
Lower your prices.
Or give another option. Give like an entry level model, like they used to. They used to have like 3 versions of irons every year, like a good, better, best type thing. Your cheaper model, your mid model, and then your high end.
Should we boycott
to the high end?
I'd like to after the summer I had with their driver last year. Thanks for selling me that piece of shit, Chiz.
I reverse boycotted TaylorMade on the Kngdom Instagram channel. I put out that video saying that TaylorMade irons or TaylorMade drivers are the best, essentially. And the amount of comments on that video, that's the most comments I think outside of like the couple viral putts we had. The comments on that video of people like arguing back and forth about TaylorMade and other brands. It's just like, who has time?
Oh, yeah. Oh, I know.
Hilarious. But no,
Just
it's
to jump
obvious. We're all TaylorMade fans on this side. So, it still doesn't make sense.
Oh,
I
mean, we're TaylorMade fans. We can't afford their clubs, but we are fans.
Right.
Chiz. I bought a set of irons the other day. Wilson Staff. They're actually pretty nice. They were like whatever they are, $900 on sale for like $475 at Golf Town. So I ordered them. Yeah, they came in. They're actually pretty nice irons. So that's gonna help. It's gonna help Easton's game, and it's also gonna help me switch to right-handed.
Easy transition, cheap.
Got to try and everything.
We should highlight this. We should highlight this comment from Gareth in the chat from the Lorette Golf Course. He said, "As a golf course general manager, the cost of equipment is not helping the game."
No,
and that's kind of what I was referring to there with the conversation. It's like, I mean, I see both sides of it because from TaylorMade's perspective, you should have the rights to your intellectual property, your trademarks, that should be respected. But at the same time, it's like if Kirkland's able to make those for that amount and sell it for that amount, it just kind of exposes how much markup TaylorMade has on their clubs, which I mean makes sense because they have Tiger Woods on their team. They have like the 10 biggest golfers in the world, and they're not doing it for the goodness of their heart. So they have to pay those people. So then you pay for more in the club. So, and Garrett's right. Like it's tough. It's tough for people to get into the game now. And I mean, everybody doesn't need $2,000 irons, but even the entry level prices now are very difficult. And I think that's Kirkland was starting to catch some of that momentum and that price point of people who are getting into golf and don't want to pay $2,000 for clubs. And TaylorMade said, nope,
right,
not on our watch.
I mean, that's truthfully like 2 full years of checking Golf Town, Golf Avenue, every site that I could check for golf clubs for East for 2 full years to finally have a deal like that. Like, and deals don't come up ever on stuff like that. Like, they're getting the price. They don't give a shit, right? People are still buying new sets of irons every year. So why would they ever lower their price, right? It's a joke how big their markup is, and Kirkland's exposing that. But obviously, TaylorMade's going to do it because the demand's there, and people are still going to pay it. Like because people keep. It doesn't matter what they're charging; people just keep paying it every year.
Yeah, it's like that's a societal thing, and it happens in every realm. But no, kind of same thing you said, Reg. Like I picked up lists a kind of a starter set. I think it's 7 clubs or whatever it is, so it's not a full set, but same thing, kind of scoured the internet everywhere to find something decent at a decent price, and even that was $400 on sale for like a 7-piece set, which I mean it's decent. And what are they, Stratus? So Callaway's entry level, and they're decent clubs. So I think that's what it's going to come down to is some of these companies like the Wilsons, they have to start making hay on that smaller market, or maybe not smaller market, but entry level market. Because like Chez says, Wilson's never not been a good brand. It's just
they don't have the same marketing budget.
Right. It's the marketing. As a kid, you thought Wilson was shit because you were told TaylorMade was the brand that you needed to be with, right? So it's got to come to that marketing, and you got to have good product at that price point too. It
Doesn't
can't be
Gary
shit.
still use Wilson?
Gary Woodland?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. He might be the only PGA guy playing Wilson right now, but you got to love Gary.
Yeah, he's Wilson.
Actually, their gear looks decent too.
Isn't Patty Wilson too?
Yep, Harrington.
Yeah.
He was, anyways. I don't know. Not up to date. I'm not up to date with my Wilson sponsors.
Wilson crew. Okay, let's fire through a couple of live topics. Not really topics, but just some chats. Apparently, and I didn't see this with my own eyes, but I did have a couple notes that Rombo's first tee shot appearance on the live broadcast, they spelt his name wrong. So that's a good start to his career over there.
How'd they spell it?
I think they didn't put the H.
You're muted, Reggie.
John.
Oh, his first name.
Yeah.
Oh, that's pretty
they
cool.
put the H, right.
Mm-hmm.
19-year-old Caleb Surratt, who plays on Rombo's team, could not check into his hotel this week in Vegas due to not being over the age of 21. So Ty Hatton had to put his room on his card. So Ty Hatton, just an absolute hero.
Imagine being a 19-year-old on live right now. Like, being a 19-year-old on the PGA, unless you're Tiger Woods or Anthony Kim or somebody of that level, like, you're not living the life that the 19-year-old is on the live. And even those guys, like, what age did Tiger really come onto the scene in terms of like being Tiger? So these guys are just like showing up in Vegas, like playing golf, listening to music, partying. I don't know. I'd have a hard time saying no to that money too, honestly. I've doubled down or tripled down on that 100 times on the show, but I mean, it'd be nuts. And Ty Hatton's checking you into your room as a 19-year-old, and you're playing on John Rahm's team.
And he's probably just motherfucking you the whole time. He's signing his name away too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Did you guys see the ratings on the weekend though? Like the viewership?
Hilarious. We have more viewers.
Not good. Hey?
We have more viewers.
Like 375,000 for live and like 1.7 million for 375,000 both days for live and 1.7 million for PGA on Saturday.
I think the problem there still is that like PGA has the TV rights. I think if Live was on CBS versus the PGA, that would be flipped, or they'd be the exact same thing, but maybe even more so. I think. I tried. I don't know where to watch Live Golf. I don't know how to watch it.
The Game Show Network.
It's on the CW.
Legitimately.
Okay, and I don't even have cable, so like I can't watch it.
Right. So, it's just MIA. I think you can still watch it on YouTube. I have no clue.
Oh, maybe. Does that count as like viewership though? I don't think it would.
I'm not sure if you guys touched on this one last week. It might have just came out that day. But Liv announces a partnership.
No, you're good.
Oh, are we back?
Yeah.
Oh, my screen went blank. Sorry, boys. But Liv announced a partnership with Google to bring every shot of every player to every person. Essentially, they're taking their cues right from the Masters app and bringing that to your tour, which, holy shit, ding, ding, ding. Can you imagine it taking you that long to fucking realize that you should have that happening? But at least we're getting it on Live, so it'll shortly happen. And I saw that the PGA announced partnership or whatever it was with the new Apple Vision things glasses. That gives you the same thing. You can control it on your coffee table or whatever the hell those glasses do. Scares the shit out of me, those things. But I don't know. We've talked about this, I think, every episode of this podcast, that how good the Masters app is. Actually, DP's pretty good for their every shot. Maybe not video for every, but they'll at least show it. Way better than the PGA does. Another just it's a bit of a egg in the face of the PJ that they can't be the ones to bring this to light.
Repeated egg to the face.
Yeah.
Pie to the face, even Bill Gates style. What are you looking at me like that for?
I'm not looking at anything.
Another one was from a Lyft promo. Was a certain gentleman named Philip claiming he's got 46 hole-in-ones. You guys buying this?
Well, I mean, that's more believable than who's the North Korea guy? Rocket Man.
Yeah.
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un saying that he shot 19 on that course.
Oh, I believe that. That guy's wild.
46 is nuts, though. Like, even if it was like 25, it'd be like,
No, I believe it, man. I really do believe it.
46 is fucking crazy.
Man, he's been playing professional golf for 30 years. He's been probably playing like pro-ams every Monday.
Like, is this Phil Mickelson we're talking?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
5 rounds a week. 6 rounds a week.
Math checks out.
I don't think that's out of question. I really don't think it's out of question. There's guys at Clear Lake with like 15.
46 is crazy. Like I think the record is 51.
Who's that? Kim Jong-un?
No, some old guy from way back when.
Trump?
Yeah.
Trump had a pretty nice shot there that I posted on the King Instagram.
I keep seeing like people that like aren't really associated with him saying that he's legitimately a good golfer. It looks like shit, but he is a decent golfer.
He's got a solid swing, man.
It's got like the Mo Norman swing. It doesn't. Yeah, it just works.
It's very efficient.
He's old as shit though. Like for him to, he generates power, man.
Monday Q had an absolute beauty one. He had a post of a gentleman playing on a tour in Panama. And this gentleman was going into the 12th hole, 1 over for the round. He teed off on the 13th hole, 62 over par for the round. Had himself a 65 on the 12th hole. That did absolutely roasted his round.
Okay, what? He got a 60 on a hole?
He had 65 on a hole.
Not actually, though.
It turned out like 6 hours later. No, that was a mistake on the app. So
imagine a 65.
A 65. Like you couldn't have that many balls.
No.
You would have had to lose 40 balls.
I thought it was like
but it caught me. I was like, 65? What the fuck? How did this guy just not withdraw after 50?
That'd be amazing.
And then last one I'll end it with is Tiggy is playing next week, gentlemen. So we can get into him next week. But the announcement came today. Tig has signed on for his own tournament next week. So he's playing host, but playing at the Genesis next week.
Masters prep.
Tig.
Speaking of that, I was just going to, this is not a really useful conversation, but we are in developments. King Golf is in developments for a Masters themed hoodie for the limited edition for the spring of 2024. It's going to be pretty sharp. I think I think the folks are going to like it.
You're going to like the way you look.
You're going to love the way you look. Sorry, Reggie.
No, that's all right. I saw that Vic said in an interview that his game was rusty, I guess, last week at Pebble, and he wanted to take this week off to get his game in shape for the Genesis. True, false?
Who said that?
Who knows?
Vic?
Vic, yeah.
Is he one of the guys rumored to be going to live?
Well,
he's shut it down a lot.
True.
If Vic and Xander leave the PGA, I would officially say they're done.
Yeah. Vic's all they got.
Yeah, fair. I mean,
well, Vic and Aubrey, I guess.
But
The
at that point, it's like, I don't know. I just feel like things are moving so fast right now, and that
yeah,
in
like
that
the
realm.
tour as we know it's already done.
Yeah, it's just like a matter
Oh,
of
yeah.
time. I don't think there's
Yeah.
anything they can do to save it at this point.
No. But I don't think they're trying to. I think
Well,
that
I
in
mean,
the
like the
end, it's going to be a
investors,
merger of
whatever
some
they signed
sort.
up
So there's got to be something that's stopping these other guys from going. I don't know, man.
I've seen a bunch of of stuff come out today that the Saudis had started threatening like bankers to not communicate with banks in the States regarding mergers or anything like that, or like yeah. So
You got to take all that with a grain of salt.
yeah,
Definitely.
I think there's a lot of people in the U.S. who do not want the live golf to succeed. And we've seen the power of the media, and we've seen the power of all that kind of bullshit in the world. So I don't know. It seems inevitable at this point, but I don't know. I just don't know where things go from here. It's going to be the thing that really bothers me is the fact that a guy like Joaquim wins, an event when guys were winning live events last year and early on in this, when there was like nobody there, it was pretty irrelevant. But like, he's beating the best golfers in the world right now, and he wins a golf tournament. Shot 59, wins a golf tournament, and somehow goes down out of the world golf rankings and does not get to play in the majors.
Yeah, but
I feel like they're doing a disservice to golf by continuing to do that.
Sort of, but that's what they signed up for when they left.
I know, but it got to this point now where it's laughable. Like, they have to adjust.
But it's also that was like, you want this big envelope of cash, like you're giving up the majors, and lots of those guys said, okay, so be it. And now that it's actually affecting him, so he's coming out in the media complaining about it. Well, he was still qualified for it last year. He didn't say a word.
you can't complain about it then.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
You can feel a way about it, sure. We can feel a way about it. We could wish that the players were in it. 100% we do. But no, like once you take that money, you knew what the repercussions were going to be from day one. A lot of the guys had exemptions for many, many years, so they didn't give a shit. But you knew this.
Yeah.
It is unfortunate because I do agree. He should be in every major. He's one of the top rising stars in the game. It's just we're never going to see him again.
And I'm not saying that he should be doing that, because I actually agree with you guys. Like, these guys made their bed, they got to sleep in it. But from like, what I'm saying is like, they're doing golf a disservice by continuing to pretend like these guys aren't playing events against the best golfers in the world. Like, we're past that point now where anybody could argue the fact that those points should be irrelevant. Or they just need to blow the whole thing up and start something else. And I think that that's probably what will happen. I don't know.
It'll get to that point.
Yeah, we're probably just not there. Everything's moving so fast.
It's got to be the last chip that the PGA can hold on to is those rankings.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. But we know we're kind of at the point now where it doesn't matter how many chips they're holding right now, they're going to be out of them soon. So it's like, do you cooperate or do you just keep pretending like this is going to go away someday?
Right, like somebody's going to cave first. Either the rankings are, or they're going to come up with their own shit and make up their own majors or something like that. But yeah, like I just don't think we're quite there yet. Because at some point, the majors are going to have no notoriety to have names to them, and they're going to want them in there because they're not going to make any friggin' money, and then advertising and that type of shit. But so that's what Liv has to do to get that, is keep taking and taking players.
Yeah. Plucking them.
Pluck them.
Well, is that the segment, Drummy?
That's all I got.
That's 2 weeks of Saggies from Drums. Well, that was a lot of golf talk, and that's, probably a good thing for a golf podcast. We had some other, little bit of sex talk, a little bit of Bitcoin talk, but let's keep it rolling here. We've been trying to keep these episodes to about an hour, but Reggie, how are you looking for a stroke saver tonight?
It's not
You got one though?
Life-changing one. I have one, but it's not a life changer. So if we skip it till next
No,
week,
we're doing it. We're
Fuck
doing it
it, we'll
tonight.
do it
We're going to
live.
do the Fix Your Divots, and then we'll do the Reggie Stroke Saver, and then we'll call it a night, even if we're a little bit over. It doesn't matter.
what about the local knowledge though?
That's just an update tonight.
Okay.
So the Fix Your Divot tonight, which is brought to you by the fellas at the Prairie Scratch Tour. The Prairie Scratch Tour is the premier amateur golf circuit, you'd call it, the tour in Manitoba. And Reggie has committed to playing in every event this year on the Prairie Scratch Tour.
No, I haven't.
He's been training day in, day in, day out for the tour. But no, Reggie is going to be playing in one. I might be as well. That's beside the point. But we want to give a big shout out to the Prairie Scratch Tour. They're back again this year. They got some great events coming, and we're very thankful for them in Manitoba and for sponsoring the segment of the show. So this tonight's is Fix Your Divot. This is a segment where we take the input from the community. We ask the question, what's your biggest pet peeve on the golf course? And the answer tonight is a good one. And it's from a Prairie Scratch Tour competitor himself, Dave Michaleski, I believe of Selkirk, Manitoba. I think he played in a couple events last summer on tour. And so I figured we'd mix this one in here. And it is guys using the AIMpoint Express. Now, he did not clarify whether this was PGA players, live players, or weekend players. And so I think we can kind of assume that he was talking about weekend players.
The local yokels.
But I also think that some guys on tour are taking the AIMpoint a little bit too far as well.
Yeah, Keegan's nuts.
So, but we'll focus on the local part of it. We'll focus on your weekend golfers. And I think this is just another example of guys wanting to, speed up play a little bit. If you're a 5, 10, 15 plus handicap, I don't think you need to be using the AIMpoint Express on the golf course. I mean, if there's nobody behind you or you're in like a competitive event and you're, if you're playing on the Prairie Scratch Tour, consider it for sure. But if you're out there on men's night or if you're out there with your girlfriend or boyfriend, if you're into that kind of thing, you don't need to be using the AIMpoint Express, I don't think, because it does slow down play. And the majority of these things that we get from people, I would say 3 out of 10 of them, at least, maybe 4 out of 10, are pace of play.
Probably 6.
We'll go with 6.
6 out of 10, I would say. Lots of it is tied in indirectly to pace of play.
True, very true. So it might even be more than that, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've talked about this before. We talked about it with Drake when he was on the show. But for me personally, I don't really keep track of time when I'm on the golf course. If I'm out there, I'm just having a good time. It's not so much about the time you're on the course. It's the time between shots. And if you're a golfer and you're trying to stay in rhythm, I think that's the whole thing. You want to stay in the rhythm. You don't want to get too cold. And if you're waiting on guys every hole, watching guys do this on the green when they're in men's night or something, I just think that that's a little bit too much. So without going too far overboard in terms of pace of play stuff, just do what you can. Play to your, pace yourself based on where you're at and who you're playing with. That's what I would say on that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the Fix Your Divots tonight. Thanks for Dave Michaleski for sending that in. And thanks to the Prairie Scratch Tour for sponsoring everybody's favorite segment, Fix Your Divots. We're trying to speed up play. We're trying to help people enjoy the game a little bit more. Time for Reggie Stroke Saver, everybody's favorite segment outside of Around the Greens and Fix Your Divots.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick one tonight. Don't buy a driver from Jez. I didn't give it a fair shake last year. This one will be different, hopefully.
Well, you got the wrong hand.
Okay. So tonight's another reading from The 4 Foundations of Golf by John Sherman. I feel like I'm reading the Bible in church right now.
Shermanator.
Have you ever gone to a diner that has a menu as thick as a book? There are more than 100 options and you're flipping through the pages trying to make a decision, but not confident anything will be that good. How could the cooks possibly execute that many dishes well? Unfortunately, that is what what many golfers' games are like. They're continually adding more and more dishes to their menu, and when it comes time to cook, the flavors fall flat. I want to walk you through a few concepts to give you specific examples of what I mean. I'll speak. Basically, it says I want you to become the restaurant that offers just a few dishes but knows how to execute them. I believe it will simplify your decision-making process on the course and ultimately save you shots. For a long time, I was under the assumption that I had to have a vast arsenal of shots and techniques at my disposal. Draws, fades, punch shots, flop shots, bump and runs, you know the list. I never really stopped to analyze my performance, but if I had, I would have noticed I wasn't very good at many of them under pressure. Sure, I could pull them off in the backyard or the driving range, but the results fell short when I only had one chance to get it right. Looking back, it is one of the main reasons I had more blow-up holes and posted double bogeys or worse. I finally understood that if I simplified things and started ripping out all the pages in the menu, I would become a much better golfer. And one part of this, he talks about how he was getting lessons from a guy, and the guy told him he's kind of like Mariano Rivera. You've only got one pitch, but you're really good at it. He's talking about his golf swing, obviously. So it says, so why am I a far better golfer now than I was before? I believe it is because I'm fully committed to doing one thing rather than partially committed to doing 10. I'm comfortable with what I've got. I mostly know what I can expect, and my head is clear over the ball because of it. I don't think recreational golfers need to hit draws or fades on command. The notion that you have to shape your shot based on the fairway or pin placement sounds alluring, but in reality, I believe you're wasting shots if you employ that strategy. My advice is to try and stick with one shot shape as best you can. Many PGA players have made millions of dollars and won major championships with one shot. I think it can work for you too. And then just one last part here that I thought was really interesting was the pitch shots from 20 yards short of the green. It says part of the beauty of golf is that there's no right way to play a shot. That's also part of its curse too. Let's say you're 20 yards short of the green and the pin is in the back. Some would say a true golfing artist would have multiple shots at their disposal. They could bump and run a lower lofted club like a 7-iron or loft a wedge back to the pin. In theory, neither of these shots is particularly challenging to execute, but I would argue that going through an internal debate will invoke enough doubt in your mind to pull off any of them with regularity. So basically, he's just saying pick one of the shots from there instead of telling yourself, "Oh, should I hit this high? Should I grab a 7-iron and hit it low?" Just pick one shot and make that your shot from that. And I mean, I've been doing that for years from around the greens. I kind of play the same spinning shot from every spot around the greens, and it's worked. But the rest of it is really cool, actually. Hey, and you, Jordy, I thought of you specifically when I read this chapter because for years you hit a draw and it could get a little squirrely, and now you hit a cut, and you don't try to draw the ball anymore. You just hit a cut every single shot, and it's amazing what it does. That's your shot. That's what you play like. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's changed your game dramatically.
Yep. I just think that the problem with a lot of weekend golfers that struggle with this kind of thing is that they do watch golf, and it's the same thing with putts. It's the expectations with putts. You watch TV, you see all these putts going in. You think that you should be doing the same. I mean, most golfers, if they want to improve, they start looking on YouTube. They start looking at TV. They start reading, books about Tiger Woods, and he talks about the 9 windows and how to, do that. And that's fine. That's fine if you're golfing for 6 or 7 hours every day and hitting 300 balls every day, and you want to do that, and that's what you want to dedicate your life to, then you should learn how to hit those 9 shots through the windows like Tiger does. But for the most part, guys play 0 practice hours every week. They play around at men's night, usually are more focused on drinking beers and eating Smokies than actually trying to improve their golf game. So it ties into the whole thing of like managing your expectations and managing your own, what your abilities essentially. Like, you go to the range and you can hit a couple draws, maybe you can hit a stinger, then you go back to your fade. But for me, that is the one thing that definitely changed my whole game. And that is something I struggled with last year was the iron play. I could not dial that in the same way I do that my driver. And so that's something I got to work on this year is trying to find the shot shape that I want to hit. I'm not going to try to do different ones, but I got to find the one that makes the most sense for me. So,
and I think another really important part of that was, like he said, like anybody can go to the driving range or anybody can be out in the backyard and hit all these different shots. But when you got a gun to your head and you got to hit the shot on the course, you have to have that one shot. And truthfully, like me and Fox talk about it all the time. Like back 10 years ago when we were golfing all the time, I mean, I hit a draw. It was probably an over exaggerated draw, but I knew every time I hit the ball, it was going left or right. I knew that I was never ever going to miss left, right? And that made golf a hell of a lot easier because that was the one shot that I played. I just drew it. I didn't try to fade it ever back then, ever. I wouldn't even consider it. But
And how many times, like growing up or even now, have you played with somebody who, the way we deem it is like a boring game, but they just knock it down the middle, 240 yards, never get themselves in trouble, but that's what they do. This is what they do well. They score well because of it. They know, hey, I get wild if I get swinging too hard or going after it. I'm losing balls, whatever the case is. So I'm just going to knock it down the middle. Maybe I take an extra shot, but that extra shot gets me closer to the target of putting the ball in the hole for me. So it comes back to what you've said and John said the whole way is play your game, whatever that is. Man, he gets in some threads on Twitter though, hey? They go on for like an hour. You're just scrolling that boy.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than playing against a golfer who's like that, like robotic.
Dale Murray.
Holy. So, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the most exciting person to golf with, but it really depends if you want to be an exciting guy to play with, then ignore this discussion. If you want to shoot better scores and be a little bit more boring and piss people off, like honestly, when you're playing the Tamarack or a match play event and the guy's he never misses a fairway, it's like, okay, like what are you supposed to do in that situation? It just frustrates you.
The same thing he is.
And it amplifies. It makes you start hitting even more shots that you think you can hit. You shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So it is commendable. It's boring, but it's commendable, and it's something to strive towards. So good strokes there for tonight, Reggie. Let's local knowledge update. So not much of an update. We posted about it on Instagram today. We're going to start our local knowledge next week. So the first episode of local knowledge is going to be our favorite course on earth, Rossman Lake Golf Course. And so we're going to be talking about some course history. We're going to be talking about, if we can find it, the course record at Rossman Lake. I don't know who has it or who has information for that. And then we're going to give some tips and tricks. So if anybody out there who listens to the show, avid listeners, and have played Rossman Lake before, send us any tips, any tricks. We'll give you a shout out on the show next week, and we'll include it in the post. So I wanted to do Rossman first because it'll kind of set the tone, I think, of kind of what we're looking for, and it'll give people a good idea of if they are interested in, if they have a course like Deloraine or Gilbert, wherever it is, just to kind of what we're looking for here. So that's all I had for. Sorry, Swan. Stop looking at me, Swan. Okay.
I was just thinking about. No, never mind. I'll save it for next week. It's
sure?
actually about It's about Rossman.
Okay. We did title this episode "We've Only Just Begun," and that was a shout out to that was a shout out to Chubbs, but also the podcast. I just want to say, we probably don't say it enough, but thanks to everybody who shows up in the chats. I know it's a little bit of a dreary season right now, and as the months go on here, March, April, I'm sure more and more people will be tuning in, especially with this the local knowledge stuff. I think that it's going to be a big boost for the show, and it's pretty exciting that we can showcase some of these local golf courses. So shout out to Chubbs. The Kingdom has just begun, even though we're on episode 160.
Shit.
We got a long ways to go, and we are just getting started here. So take us away, Drummy.
That's it for this week, folks. We are out of here. Same time, same place next week. We're out. Love you, boys. Peace.
See you, fellas.
Love you, boys.